Hello, welcome back to another Togcast. This time it's a little bit special, just because it's one of my friends who's a commentator as well. So no doubt you know who she is. You'll have heard her commentating on almost every championship that has been held in Toga recently. So she doesn't need an introduction, but we have the lovely Zyeta with us. Good evening, Zyeta.
Good evening.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. Right, we start off with generic questions and then get down to the more tricky ones. Yeah, exactly. So you are obviously Zyeta, the commentator. And what country are you from?
I'm UK.
Beautiful. Another UK person. And what's your occupation?
Occupation is automotive restoration engineer.
Wow. I just sat back just to listen to that. It's amazing. I guarantee there'll be so many people jealous of that kind of work, but I'm sure it's like any job. It's just a job. But
You say honestly, we've a little bit fallen on our feet with it. It's not really work. It's basically just mucking about and doing what I would, pretty much getting paid to do what I would love to be doing anyway. So yeah, which I just having a bit of one of these random conversations before is just, partner turned to us and went, if you won the lottery for whatever reason, not that we play it or anything, is you would just carry on doing what you're doing, aren't you? Because you just love it to bits. It's like, yeah, pretty much.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, no, it to some degree it's not a job because it's so much fun.
Yeah, which is good.
There are bad days when you spend like a couple of days cleaning out a head facer sump. That's horrible.
Oh.
Or cleaning out some roller crankcase that is like inch deep plus in sludge.
Oh no! See, I would get bored of that part.
But it's weighed out by just the satisfaction of this thing came in. Like we had a 3-litre. It was actually an unmodified 3-litre 4-cylinder Bentley engine that came in.
Nice.
It is reasonably normal for us, but that came in. Cylinder 1 was conrod and piston existed. Cylinder 3 and 4 were okay. Mm-hmm. Cylinder 2 was entirely missing its piston and small end because it sheared off the top of the conrod and left via the crankcase.
Oh, that's expensive.
Yeah, there was about a slightly larger than fist-sized hole inside of the crankcase.
I guess if you've got a Bentley, the argument could be you can afford a new engine, but still, that's horrible.
It was all, because the age of it, we just cleaned it all up, found a chunk of aluminium that was the right grade, and welded it in.
Wow.
Welded it back up, stuck it back together, made a whole bunch of new main bearings for it, rebored the main bearing tunnel itself, so it was all to being straight, because after you've welded it and it's had chunks knocked out of it, whether it's straight anymore is anybody's guess.
Yeah.
Even after doing all the things you should do of heating it up before you attack it with a welder and all that, continually heating it, allowing it to cool down slow. Yeah, it's still, it's still going to be wobbly.
Yeah. I love the technical terms.
So yeah, I mean that's basically what my day job amounts to is what's broken now, how broken is it, and how many weeks is it going to take to fix?
Oh God, that sounds horrible. And just in terms of customers waiting, expecting answers, obviously.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, the customer will come in and go, there you go. I need this doing to it. And you just do it, and it's not normally too good a job. It's when somebody comes in with a whole engine and went, I've just dug this out of a car that I haven't found it that hasn't been touched in like 60 years, and they've got an engine and a gearbox that's still screwed together, and just like, right, nobody use any air tools on this, and we're hosing it down with water before we start.
Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of, obviously, sim racing is a thing you enjoy. Commentating on the sim racing is what you also enjoy. What other hobbies or interests have you got that are out with sim racing?
Over the years, we've done all sorts of things. We've spent quite a lot of time mountain biking.
Nice. That's good healthy
Um,
exercise.
Yeah, we've done quite a chunk of mountain biking. We've raced enduro at a regional and national level. Didn't do very good, but still
Well,
did it.
did a lot better than I did, so
We have also done quite a lot of dinghy sailing as well.
that's different to sim racing.
You say that. Aerodynamics are not that dissimilar to hydrodynamics.
Ah,
Air and water respond in basically the same way. All there is a density difference.
I suppose that does make sense when you break it down like that.
So mucking about with air and waves is pretty much the same.
Nice. That's
Um,
how. So, are we talking a one person, two person?
so we've sailed a multitude of things where we've previously been based down on the south coast of the UK, part of a Sea Scout group down there, for, I don't know, it feels like pretty much my entire life. Up
Okay.
to the point up until the point I just had like work and life got in the way.
Yeah.
So, what's that? Well over a decade.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty much been in and out of water sports my entire life. Practically grew up with webbed feet because we spent so much time in and out of the water. So I've had my own sailing dinghies over the years.
Oh, okay.
Single-handers. Started with, as a lot of people do, ended up sailing toppers and picos and stuff. Which are little junior boats. Ended up on last boat I had was a Laser 1. Quite an old design, but still a lot of fun. Have sailed, again being part of the Sea Scout group, have sailed bosuns. We had a couple of Bahias that were quite fun. And yeah, mucking about with that kind of thing. So yeah, during the summer, this time of year, we'd be out all the time on the water, whether it be sailing, kayaking, rowing, you name it. Being a member of, it was actually the same Sea Scout group my dad was part of.
Okay.
Both my brothers went through it as well, so it's kind of just all of us have had something to do with it.
Nice. It's good that there's a family part that you can either share or pass the baton on to the younger generation.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And would recommend anybody that's within reach of a scout group in general go and join in. If you're within reach of a Sea Scout group, really go give it a go. You'll get the opportunity to do stuff you never even thought was possible.
Awesome. That is so good. So how long have you been sim racing or racing in any kind of game?
I mean, racing in any kind of computer game has been from way back.
Yeah.
Our first love for motorsport came from, and racing in a general sense came from the old PlayStation 1 Le Mans 24-hour game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Old, slightly dodgy graphics, but you had the likes of the Panozers, the old air-cooled 911s.
Oh.
And stuff running around the the properly hairy-chested 911s that
Yeah.
makes the current cars feel tame.
So it's been a long time because sim racing only became a thing maybe, 5, 6 years
Something like
ago?
that. I mean, I've only been running on ACC and a wheel for a couple of years.
Yeah. But I still see, like, I started on TOGA, TOGA on the PS1. So
Yeah.
for
It's
me,
a race driver.
and I see that as part of sim racing. That was as close to racing a car on a track as you could get without actually being in a car on a track. So yeah, so it sounds like we have a similar lineage from the start of the PlayStation eras right
Yeah,
up to
it's.
now.
I mean, it's that game that's just that lit the spark in us.
Yeah.
We've always yes, we followed Formula One just because it was what was around. But also things like British touring cars.
Yeah.
Which late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
The history almost needs no introduction around that point. It's bonkers what was going on.
It was crazy.
So it was, so growing up around that kind of thing, my eldest brother was big time into motorsports and stuff. He pretty much the reason we got into it.
Okay.
He ended up being a mechanic for a bit. So yeah, that's pretty much he's pretty much the reason we've got into motorsports in the first place, is he was the one playing these games to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And just middle of the night bombing it down Mulsanne. That is just like that's proper motorsport. Is you have to make you're racing against yourselves as much as you are each other.
Yep.
And that's very much one of the reasons we like the GT and the endurance side of things, because it's as much a game of survival as it is actually being quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we know anything can happen in a 6, 10, 12, 24-hour race. Yeah. It's not about being quick for 5 laps. It's the consistency behind it.
It really is. It's just keeping it out of the wall, keeping it out of the pits more than you need to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where you start getting there.
That's amazing. And you've actually answered the next question, was what and who inspired you to get into sim racing. So I spoke to Davida a couple of days ago to his Togcast, and it was his brother who inspired him to get into motorsports, into sim racing. And I just think it's great when it's a family thing, when you can go, my brother, my sister, my dad, my mum, whoever it was, is the person that got me into that. It's so good.
Yeah. Keep threatening to let my niece loose on with the welder.
Oh, you should. You absolutely should. That we need more female racing drivers, I think. It's the same as anything, but I think to see women racing against men for GT3, GT4, into Le Mans,
It really is. I mean, it generally, in the industry we're in, when we're going through our training, there was, in our group, it was a reasonably high number. We were a tutor group of 12, and there was three of us in that tutor group.
Okay.
But there was, I think, there was about 8 or 10 tutor groups going at the time, and I think a total of maybe 6 or 7 girls in the group total.
Okay. That's I mean, if
seriously get into STEM, science, engineering, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go do practical stuff. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. We need more people, irrespective of gender, we need more doers than we do thinkers at this point in time.
Yeah. It's always the same thing. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, or whatever way you want to say that you're not going to upset some community, but there's always top heavy with management and not enough people actually just getting on with the job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, up until we moved the end of last year, we worked in a team of, I think, totaled about half a dozen people, and courtesy of me being in the workshop, halved the average age.
Oh, okay.
Like, most of the people there were retirement age or older.
Yep.
We had somebody come across from Devon. Completely mad human being, absolutely lovely. He has since retired, just because it got a bit much in the end, and what have you. There's a few things that happened with the company after we left anyway. But yeah, he came up 2 days a week from Devon, because he absolutely loved what he did. He run our line borers and a line borer and crank grinding for a couple of days a week. Because he'd had strokes, heart attacks, all sorts, you name it. He'd been through the wars. Just did it because it got him out of the house a couple of days a week and had fun.
That's amazing. And the amount of experience that you can gain from...
You can literally measure a crank and tell you how much under it was. He'd been doing it so long. He'd been doing it so long that two of the other guys in a workshop were his apprentices. We used to work, all three of them used to be based down in Bournemouth, and he was essentially their boss back in Bournemouth doing the same thing.
Wow.
And ended up being picked up by his tiny little company that does largely engine restoration.
Yep.
Wow. Machine shops and stuff like that do still exist. And there's a surprising amount of work out there because there's so few people that can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what equipment do you use for like the likes of ACC?
Well, I'm basically sat in my rig at the moment because it is also my desk where I do copious amounts of admin and everything else. It is no surprise. We've got 923, which has got a couple of mods. It's got a magnet block for the shifters and a GT3 like butterfly wing. Steering wheel on it. Just a desk chair, which I've taken the casters off and put feet on it. And then my pedals are screwed to a lump of wood because I've got very short legs.
Nice.
The desk, it's now gone through two different houses because we ended up making it, whilst we were back down south, we were bouncing between our partners and our parents' place quite a lot. So we ended up making a bit of a rough and ready thing, thinking, it'll be all right. It doesn't need to last very long. We'll sort something out. And what is it now? Probably the best part of a year. And later, it's been through two houses. It's moved like 80 odd miles up the road, and it's still going.
It's a long-term temporary fix.
Yeah, it's a temporary it's a temporary structure in the same way that the Eiffel Tower is a temporary structure.
Yeah. It's amazing how I had a similar setup to that before, and it's amazing how you just add to it, and then all of a sudden you're like, I've actually put quite a lot of work into this temporary thing, and So, what kind of pedals are you using? Is it the 923 pedals?
Yeah, it's just the stock 923. I have ended up having to change the sensors.
Okay.
As pretty much everybody does. Because they died, so it was cheaper to buy a new lumen sensors.
Yep.
than it was to replace it, because I'm either buying a unknown quantity used set of pedals, which I'm probably going to be in the same situation for,
Yep.
or for about, I think it's about 100 quid or so, to swap the loom and the pedals out, and that means the loom and the sensors out, and that means I don't have to replace the entire system with a new one,
Which is good.
because you can't get the pedals separately. So I just did that because it saved the hassle.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Do you have a favourite car in ACC?
Ooh,
It's like
that's a tricky one.
it's like asking who your favourite child is.
We started in the Aston,
Yep.
so kind of always have a soft spot for that. Largely pretty much used that until the Evo 2 Lambo turned up. So basically the entirety of 1.8 was pretty much spent in the Aston.
Yep.
Then jumped into the Evo 2 Lambo, and I've basically run that until recently. We've been playing around with a Mustang a little bit.
Oh.
Which is a fascinating car to drive, by the way. It has some very, very interesting quirks to the way it drives and the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
And the way, particularly the way its aero works, it's quite easy to stall the front splitter.
Right, okay.
Which makes it feel like the brakes aren't working, which is not fun.
Yeah, that's never a good thing in a race car.
No, it's really not. So that's a rather interesting bit of kit to drive. We've been mucking about with that. I think we're signed up for the rookie series next.
Oh,
in it for a giggle. So depending on how that goes, we may just switch back to the Lambo, because the Lambo is a known quantity. Unfortunately, because it's a remarkably easy car to drive very quickly,
yeah.
It gets absolutely neutered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is minor gripe with some of the BOP systems.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favourite track on ACC?
Oh, again, there's a few good ones.
Mm-hmm.
The short twist, the twisty, gnarly, narrow tracks are often our favourites. Zolder, is a really good fun one. Alton. Where else? My brain. I've not got them listed here in front of me, so I'm sadly going, which ones is it?
Yeah, I mean, Alton is probably for me a real race track because it's narrow, twisted, and the ability to go off track is so low that as soon as you put a wheel off the track, you kiss the track goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, it completely is. Like, you, even on track, you put a wheel in the wrong place.
Yep.
And you're just disappearing into the weeds.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it really is. It's a proper driver's track.
Yeah.
To be quick and to be consistent around there it's not just about wringing the neck out of the car and using every last millimeter of track. It's knowing where you can put the car on track, knowing where the bumps are, knowing the lines. And to some degree, that's something we've pulled back from our experience mountain biking, is having to read the road in front of you.
Yeah.
And what that's telling you. And what that's telling you and what that's going to do to the car.
It also, I think, prepares your brain for what's coming next. Even though you've raced a track probably hundreds of laps, it still makes your brain think forward rather than just the next apex.
Yeah, you've really got to be looking and thinking forward as to, right, where do I need to, where can I munch this apex? Where do I need to be on the track after that because what's coming up after that? Because everything on that track happens so quickly. You don't get a chance to think, so you're always having to think 2 or 3 corners ahead so that you know where you're putting the car on track.
Absolutely. How long can you remember when you joined TOGA?
Ooh, it wasn't that long ago. It feels like it's been a lot longer, but it really wasn't. I want to say it was somewhere around Christmas.
Yeah.
Because I know we did the Christmas community race at Monza. Then I think the next thing we did was was it season 8? Was it 7 or 8 rookie season?
7 maybe. I can't remember.
I'm literally firing up my sim grid now just to double check because I can't remember. I really can't remember. Results. Come on, initial skater. Red Bull ran. But yeah, race 3. Our first one was TOGA. With TOGA was the Christmas race.
Yep.
Then we finished off that one elsewhere. Then, no, it was with you. Our first big race with TOGA was 3rd of February. Was the 6 hours of
yeah,
Red Bull Ring when that
Red
came
Bull
out.
Ring. Yep.
Which we did with Davide and yourself, and we were bouncing between commentary
That's right.
and that, which was hilarious because it all went a bit. Well, our strategy went a bit P-tong because things went a bit awry. Because wasn't Hayden meant to do some streaming and you go off and race, and then Hayden didn't have any internet?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then our first series properly with yourselves was season 7 rookies.
Rookies, yep. I think not everybody, but majority of people start with the rookies and either stick there for a couple of seasons or progress on to other things. But yeah, that was a good season 7. I think there was a couple of red flags and things throughout the season, but overall it was good.
Yeah, no, it was a good season. That one, I think generally somewhat better behaved than season 8.
Yep.
I think we're down for season 10. Is that the one that we're down for next?
Yep, because season 9 is just
season 9's just in the middle of it now. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
So yeah, that will either be in the Lambo or the Mustang. I'm not sure which yet.
Well, keep us in suspense. Are you signed up to any other championships?
Not with TOGA. We're looking at possibly joining in where if we can find somebody else to race with.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking at doing there's a British GT series with, I think it's Lightspeed.
Okay.
They're running GT3s, GT4s, and it looks like a fun one for the strategy side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the stint timers are 10 minutes shorter than there's 2 minimum pit stops,
okay,
full service pit stops, and the stint timers are 10 minutes shorter than you would want to do to one stop the race. So it's kind of like the previous World Tour series where it was 80 minutes and 2 mandatory service stops.
Yeah.
Which actually I think was a great idea.
Yeah.
That was really fun to commentate on because basically up to the point of the first pit stops, it was a normal flat out race, and then you had to sit there and do the maths and work out who was going to come out where and what people were doing.
A lot of strategy thinking and coming up with answers that turns out wasn't right anyway. So
yeah.
No, that's awesome. I can't believe it, but we are 30 minutes. already. It just feels like we started. Well, I can't thank you enough, Zita. It's always amazing to talk to you, and like I've found things out about you tonight that I didn't know, and I've known you since you came into TOGA. So, hopefully, I'm sure anyone listening, hopefully, any females listening have maybe been inspired to pick up a torque wrench or pick up a steering wheel or something like that in the future.
Yeah, indeed. Come do it. It's great fun. I admittedly we've grown up around that just being the norm.
Yeah.
So a little bit of an advantage to some degree there. But yeah, if you want to do it, don't be put off. It's great fun.
Absolutely.
If you've got a love, that goes for anything you have a love and a passion for.
Yeah.
Do everything you can to follow it.
Absolutely.
Because as long as you can continue to enjoy it, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Okay, Zita, thank you so much for your time and can't wait to hear Nikom's podcast again.
Indeed. Probably won't be till next week now, but yes.
Excellent. Okay.
Lovely.
Take care.
Indeed.
See you later.
See you someone.
See you later. Bye-bye.